Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we are making creamy chicken marsala. And it's one of my favorite restaurant dishes, but it's easy to make at home. Hold on, I gotta grab my cocktail. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Just a little gin and tonic tonight. That at the moment is all gin. Let's remember that before we start drinking it. Okay, so chicken marsala, and this is just a real quick variation on the traditional marsala, but I've got some great mushrooms. These are actually cremini mushrooms. And then I've got some chicken stock right here. You're also gonna need a little heavy cream for this. That's optional, but that's what makes it the creamy part. Hello, Richard Schellenberger. And we have a little marsala. And I've got the sweet marsala because that's what I like of this. You can do with the dry. You can actually even use vermouth in this dish if you want, but marsala is the traditional way to do it. So we're gonna do it that way. You're gonna need a little garlic too. So I've got my garlic, and what we're gonna do is we start by browning our chicken breast, and I've got these really nice thinly sliced chicken fillets. All right, let's get everything set over here so you can see what's going on. Sorry about that, it's awfully close. Okay, so I've got my chicken and a little mixture of olive oil and butter. And I dusted them with a little flour and salt and pepper. So they are, I'm just gonna brown it off a little bit. We'll pull them out, we'll put them over here, and then we'll continue to make our sauce. I got some rice going on over there, some rice. I like to serve this over pasta or rice. Either way is good. So we've got that going on. I got a little butter ready to go. You're gonna need butter. Watching from Cabo, very nice. So again, I don't wanna overcook these. Oh, these are really pretty. I didn't pound these out. They're just sliced nice and thin. And I like to do a mixture of the butter and olive oil because you get a little crispier and a little browner finish on it. Hi, Joan. Hope you're doing well. All right, we got those looking pretty good. Hello, Kevin. K.E., what are you doing? All right, so you're gonna brown your chicken. Again, dredge it in a little flour. Hello, Lori. I'm gonna let that brown just a second longer on that side. And once we remove the chicken, hello, Jan Darlington. Hi, Linda. We're gonna make our sauce right in this pan, and then just before we're finished, we'll put the chicken right back in and let everything finish up. Hello, Nora. Nice to see you. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Scotty's watching. All right. I'm gonna pull the chicken breast, these thinly sliced chicken breasts. Yeah, it's got enough color. Okay, there we go. Got those done. They're not cooked all the way through. We'll finish them off in the pan. It's okay, there's a little bit of chicken in here. We're gonna deglaze the pan, but first, it's all right to have a little bit of the chickeny goodness in there. We're gonna add in our mushrooms. Use the mushrooms of your choice, whatever you like. I was going to do some porcinis, but I didn't find any at the store. I want to turn this heat down a little bit. All right, so you turn your heat back off, down a little bit, not off. And what I'm going to do, got my mushrooms in there. I'm going to get a little more butter. I've got this really nice European butter. It is so rich and lovely. I got it from the certified farmer's market. So I'm going to let that dissolve in there with my mushrooms. I'm going to saute the mushrooms around a little bit. Not for long. Doesn't have to be a long time. And this European butter that I'm using has this really rich, wonderful flavor. So, and the aroma is fantastic as well. So, all right, I'm going to let all of that melt down. Get that buttery goodness. Get the little brown bits from the chicken off the bottom of the pan in there. All right. These mushrooms are cooking up nicely. Flip that one over. That's a big chunk of mushroom there. Okay, and the great thing about mushrooms, of course, is they are great at absorbing the flavors that we're adding to them. And so they're gonna pull in that marsala flavor. Before we get to the marsala, we're gonna add in our garlic. Wee bit of garlic, a couple of cloves that I crushed up. You don't need a lot for this dish, just enough to give it a little hint, okay? And we're gonna put that in there and just let that get aromatic. All right, so we've got that going. My rice is bubbling away. I should cover that. I'll dig out a cover. All right, so now we've got olive oil, butter, some garlic, and mushrooms in our sauce. Now we're going to add in our marsala and deglaze the pan a little bit with this. I'll say about a half a cup, maybe a little more. Turn the heat up a little bit. Now we're going to let that, oh, it already smells good. And remember, I'm using the sweet marsala. There's sweet marsala and there's dry marsala, and you don't have to use it's not an expensive wine, but it adds great flavor to the dish we're cooking. Bring the temperature back up. We're going to reduce that. My favorite burner's over there with the rice, so I got to let this one heat back up a little bit. So we'll reduce our marsala we put in there, and again, I put it about a half a cup, maybe a little bit more. And in fact, I can add a little bit more of the butter. Put that in there. Got the butter, and that'll melt in. Now you can hear it sizzling. So we're going to reduce our marsala, and that's going to concentrate the flavors. But in doing this, remember that we're allowing those mushrooms to infuse with our marsala flavor. So I want to let that bubble up a little bit as it is doing. Some butter cook into it. This is a nice, and again, the cream that we're going to add in just before we finish is optional. If you like a little bit thinner sauce, you can also add in a little cornstarch or flour if you want to thicken the sauce. I'm going to let it reduce naturally. Then I'm going to add in, I got a cup of chicken stock. I'm not going to use the whole cup. I'm going to let this cook down just a little bit. Then I'm going to add in my chicken stock. You see how that marsala bubbles up? Oh, you got a great bunch of flavors going here with the garlic and the marsala and that really, really nice, rich butter. All right, now we're going to add in our chicken stock. I'm going to put in about a half a cup. That's about all I think we'll need out of that. And again, keep your heat going. And once again, we're going to let that start to reduce a little bit. Oh, we got a lot of people online. The pups ate, Nora. They're fine. Leon, what are you doing, my buddy? Hello, Bethany. Hello, Sandra, who she's watching. Randy got home. Linda Wells is there. Thomas. Oh, I got a lot of folks watching. Okay. All right. So we've got the mushrooms, the garlic. We browned the chicken in the pan. And then we've added the Marsala wine and the chicken stock. Now is a good time to hit it with a little salt and pepper, okay? Hello, Christopher Flicker. You're getting ready to go see Raiders of the Lost Ark in the theater tonight. Little pepper. They're re-releasing Raiders of the Lost Ark. A little salt. You don't need a lot of salt because there's salt in the chicken stock, unless you buy the lower sodium kind. All right, we're going to stir that in. Oh, look at that. Let that reduce a little bit more. A really nice, rich Marsala flavor, which just the aroma is so good. Stir my rice over here. All right. So we're going to let that continue to cook a little bit. Now, I've got about a half a cup of heavy cream. So I'm going to bring my heat down a little bit. We've reduced that a little bit. We've got my chicken stock, the marsala, the mushrooms, the garlic, and obviously the drippings from the chicken that we cooked. And now we're going to stir in our cream. A little flour just to thicken it up a bit. Made a mess. All right, there we go. There's bits of flour broken up. And we're going to let that simmer nicely. Just put a little pinch of flour in there to thicken it up. You can use cornstarch if you wish, or you can just let it simmer a little longer, and that will thicken it up nicely as well. Stir that in, get that heat back up, let it simmer. It's looking pretty good, guys. I made a mess. Don't pay attention to the mess. This is one of my favorite dishes, and you know, a lot of great Italian restaurants, Castelli's, Johnny Costa's, they'll do a great chicken marsala, but you can do it at home, and it's easy. It doesn't take real long. It does take someone to do the dishes afterwards because I'm making a mess. I want to bring that heat back up. I'm going to get that bubbling just a little bit, and then we're going to add our chicken back in. So we're real close to being done. You can serve this over pasta. You can serve it over rice, which I'm going to do tonight. I prefer the rice. Just felt like it tonight. I've had a lot of pasta recent. And, you know, you get that rich, earthy umami of the mushrooms, and the cream makes it a little sweeter, and you've got the sweet marsala in there. Gnocchi would be a very good choice. Hello, Sonny. Yeah, it is a little messy, but that's okay. Maria? Yeah, I love chicken marsala too. Okay, so we got that bubbling up a little bit. Oh. That is coming along beautifully. Take a look at that. Progresso soup. Really, look at that. How gorgeous is that? You can see it's bubbling just a little bit. Now we are ready. Sonny, I'm doing great. I hope you are as well, my friend. Put our chicken back in. Like that. Now I want to get that chicken totally coated in our sauce. Now you can see we've really got it bubbling up. So I'm going to bring the heat back down just a little bit. We're going to cover it up, and we're going to let that chicken finish in there in our sauce. And while we're doing that, again, I'll go over the recipe with you. You need about half a cup, maybe a little more. It depends on your how sweet and how much marsala you want in it, but you really have to get that marsala flavor in there. Have I considered a podcast? Is that Randy? Yes, that's Randy. And of course, as I said, you need your choice of mushrooms, whichever you prefer. Brown your chicken first, take it out. Then you're going to add in a little more butter. You're going to add in your mushrooms, saute them until they're nice and soft. And then you're going to add in your garlic and let that get nice and aromatic. Only a couple, 3 minutes. You don't have to overcook the garlic. Then you're going to add in your marsala. Deglaze the whole pan. Let the marsala bubble up a little bit. Let it infuse those mushrooms with that great marsala flavor. And then you add in some chicken stock. Let that reduce a little bit. And then you add in the cream. And again, the cream is optional. If you're on a diet, sure, you can leave it out. But why would you do that? It's so good. And then once you get your sauce to about the consistency you want, you can, like I said, add a little cornstarch, a little flour. You can thicken it up that way. But then we're going to add in our chicken back into the mix and let that, the cream does make it absolutely flicker. I 100% agree. Yeah, I do this with rice, Sonny, but it's great over pasta as well. And, you know, the nice thing about marsala, there are lots of marsalas out there. Again, I'm using the sweet, but there is a dry version. They're cheap, $7 or $8 a bottle. So it makes it a great dish. And, of course, you cook off the alcohol so you can serve it to the kids, no problem. Hello, Nita, how are you? One thing I have to do, I'm letting the chicken, it's just finishing in the sauce. We're going to plate it up in just a second and take a look at it. That sauce has thickened up beautifully. The one thing I forgot to do as I was getting started, it's cheap. Yes, Tom Brewer, it is, just like you. The kids are why you drink, Randy. Hey, that sounds familiar. Hello, my wife is watching. Hi, sweetheart. Cheers, everyone. All right, I think that chicken is done. Remember, we browned it first, but you want to let it finish off in that sauce, and I'm going to plate it up, and we're going to take a look at it. Bombay Sapphire and Tonic, for those of you keeping score at home. All right, time now to check it out. So let's see how we did. Bring that heat down a little bit. Oh, look at that. I want to get some of those mushrooms. My wife will tell you I'm not a huge mushroom guy, but in the right preparation, with the right flavors, I love a good mushroom. And this sauce really requires it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our creamy chicken marsala. How about that? Isn't that pretty? Hello, Joan. Cheers to you. Look at that. See how that sauce is thickened up nicely? All right, let's dig in. See how we did, huh? I want to get you where you can see this. Yeah, Flicker, you're not going to get this at the theater tonight. I'll lower you down there. Oh, boy. All right, the chicken is done perfectly. You can see that. Mop up some of that sauce. Let's get a mushroom with that. Okay. Oh. That, fantastic. Just the right balance, and the cream evens it out. It's really fantastic. Again, the earthiness of the mushrooms, the marsala adds a little sweetness. The cream just makes it so creamy and delicious. Yes, Randy, you missed out. So, creamy chicken marsala. I'm going to eat the rice in a minute. The rice isn't done, Karen. Not everything gets done all at the same time, unfortunately, in my kitchen. So, again, I will post the recipe right here on Facebook. Really easy recipe, not a lot of ingredients. It will also be on my YouTube channel, which is Patrick Evans in the Kitchen. You can subscribe to that. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It's totally free, so Tom Brewer, it's perfect for you. It's cheap. It's in fact the cheapest kind of cheap. It's free. So subscribe to that, and you'll see this and a bunch of other recipes. John, there are no calories in this because I'm eating it standing up. When you eat standing up, there are no calories. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. Have a great rest of your week. Check out the recipes on my YouTube channel, and we'll figure out something fun to cook next week. But I was feeling like a traditional dish, and this creamy chicken marsala hits the spot. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks for joining me here in the kitchen. Delicious.